You want to know why we learned more about the Holocaust than we did slavery, American slavery? I mean, there's a couple of reasons, but the main one, it's brutal, and they didn't want tiny white children to grow up with guilt and bad views on white people, because we would all just growing up hating white people. The most demonic shit you could imagine was done by human beings, like white land-owning men, during this fucking American slavery. Like, slavery never went away. We still have it. It's just industrialized now. It's the prison system. We learned more about the Holocaust and the atrocities of the Holocaust because, is not real, and their weaponization of anti-Semitism. Yes, anti-Semitism is real, but the federal government of Israel and Jewish people are different fucking things. Fuck. We didn't learn about the brutality of American slavery because it would have made everyone want to burn this shit down. I think every single white person on Black History Month should go read and learn about the actual American history of slavery and how fucking brutal it was. It makes the actions of the Epstein class predictable. Because what do you mean? We've been doing this. This was the things in the files. That's what has been happening to Black people in this country, to Black and brown people in this country, to marginalized groups in this country since the foundation of the fucking country. I keep saying this, we built this country on the fucking files, dude, on the exact same shit, but probably worse. I don't know what all the Epstein class did off camera, off record, but I know for a fact that during American fucking slavery, they were doing things like eating the fucking kids, feeding them to alligators, raping the husbands in front of their fucking wives, watching them give birth and then killing the kid and then making the mother cook the kid to serve it up to the fucking slave fucking owners, dude. Like, go fucking read and then help me burn shit.
I don't mean to sound glib about this. I'll probably sound kind of glib, but I found out my great-great-great-great-grandfather was a farmer in the South, so I was expecting to find him on the slave schedules, and there's 2 men with his name on the slave schedules. One of them might be him. One of them owned 10 people. It looked like it was a family. One of the children is listed as a little mixed race girl, so I don't like the implications of that. The other one owned 18 people, and it looks like it might be another family because most of them are children. And I figured I was going to find something like this. I don't know for sure which one's my great-great-great-great-grandfather. I'm fairly certain one of them is. I don't know what to do with this information. It doesn't say the names of none of these enslaved people. And I don't know what I would do if I found out their names. Apologize? What do you do? It's fucked up seeing it. It's fucked up.
So where are those people who keep saying, oh, you guys should just brace it up, oh, suck it in already, okay, this is not about slavery, you cannot be talking about slavery, or it never happened, let's even let it go, okay, oh, these things doesn't happen anymore, there is no braid to the seas among the white folks, okay, it is our grandfathers or great-grandfathers that did that, we have nothing to do with it. Now, a lot of you keep saying all of this, forgetting that there was a time when these folks went through those things and the trauma still lasted today. Not only that, the fact that a lot of you still play those raid to the seas card in their faces till date, and yet you do not want them to protect themselves. You do not want them to stand up against your attitude and your character towards them. And now a lot of them is waking up, and I love the fact that it's not just them that is exposing you guys right now for what it was. It is also your own people coming out and saying the truth. And this man broke the pot, or the camel's back, whatever you call it. Anyway, I'm going to let the rest of the videos roll, guys, then I'll come back with more commentary. Credit belongs to original creators of these videos. Let's go watch.
You want to know what baffles my mind? Is when white people get defensive about their race, or they get dismissive about slavery, spewing out percentages, spewing out facts about it was only this many white people that had slaves. And do you know what they did to Black people? Have you heard the stories? Do you not remember the history books? And just to brush it under the rug and expect that we're just gonna pretend like, that was so long ago. Why are we holding on to these things? That's a wound that has never healed. That was horrific. And to think that you are trying to rationalize it in your brain somehow so that you don't have to feel sorry for the way they were treated and hear them when they're saying, hey, we're still being treated like shit. God, I don't get it. And I know that I'm not super qualified to talk on this, but that's just the truth.
My grandpa was a racist, and when I was 17 years old, my mom told him that he better get over it because his granddaughter was likely going to marry a black person. My grandfather disowned me. He did not speak to me again until the day that he died, when he fell asleep in his pool chair, dropped a cigarette onto the chair, and he burned alive at 92 years old, but he forgot to write me out of the will, and I got $5,000. Here is to breaking generational curses and fuck racism.
I just don't see a problem with making sure that white kids don't feel traumatized in history class. What? Like the woke army wants everyone to know that white people bad, right? And Democrats have a huge problem with us toning down the slavery talk a little bit. Imagine being a middle schooler today and all you ever hear is how terrible your race is. It's making these kids borderline suicidal. What the have you been reading? Okay, we learned about slavery in middle school, in elementary school. I never sat there and thought, oh my God, these are my people. I'm gonna go myself. Did you? Maybe. No, you didn't. Because we sat there and we were like, oh my God, this is so terrible. These people were treated so terribly. I would never do this. I would never let this happen. We need to make sure this never happens again. That's why teaching history is so valuable. Yeah, but they only want to focus on white people as slave owners. Did you know black people were slave owners too? No, because there's not a chapter on them. A chapter. What percent of slave owners were black? Roughly 1% of the free black population owned slaves. Crazy, right? And about half of that population owned one enslaved person, typically a spouse or a child, whose freedom they had bought. Then they didn't pay to have them emancipated because it was super expensive and super difficult. So you want a chapter in a book, but I'm telling you that more than one line of acknowledgement would be completely disproportionate. Whatever, I just don't want these kids to feel bad about being white. They should feel pride. You want them to feel white pride.
Black people have only been full humans in this country on paper from about 1968 to now. This tiny window of time, black people have been seen by the law as full humans. And now that's getting rolled back every single day. But if you wonder, like, why can't black people get it together? Why aren't black neighborhoods better? Blah, 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 blah. We just got free. And to bring it home, I always use my family tree. My father's been able to trace his side of the family back to the early 1800s, 1820s, where Ben Plummer was enslaved in North Carolina. Ben Plummer had parents, so I know that my family's been here since the late 1700s, early 1800s, longer than most white people's families in America. I, born in 1975, so from the late 1700s to my birth, I'm the first person in my entire family tree born with full human rights. First generation. Been here since the 1700s. I'm the first generation of plumbers born with full rights. And so what I tell my students is, the fact that you even exist today makes you amazing. Black people should have been extinct, giving the hundreds of years of slavery, then 100 years of Jim Crow and racial violence. We shouldn't even exist on the planet. But not only do we exist, we thrive. We create the culture and trend that shapes the world. People follow us. People use us as the arbiter of what's good and what's bad, what's cool and what's not. They take our food, they take our style, they take our language, still don't really want us, but we're still here.
If you're not from America or have spent a long amount of time there, you may not realize how deeply, deeply segregated racially segregated the society is. If you don't know me, I'm Good Will Hunting. I am a writer from Northern Ireland, straight to the north of Ireland, and I'm using TikTok to get a book deal for my novel Influenced. I wasn't really going to speak about this because it's not my place to make a video like this as a white person, but this person left this comment and I just wanted to touch on it really quickly because I think it's worth just speaking about my observations as a non-American who spent time in America. So I'm going to use a really specific example so that nobody can say that I'm talking out of my arse. So I love hip hop and I was staying in New York for like a prolonged period of time over the course of a year, and I saw the Roots were playing in Philadelphia. Now it was part of a festival, so it was like the Roots, Lil Wayne, Nas, Jill Scott was there. Like there was so many amazing artists, and I was like, I have to go to this event. So I booked a ticket. It was really cheap. Also, like for America, it was cheap, and to see all of those artists like separately here, you'd be waiting years. So I booked a ticket. Also, I solo travel all the time, so I don't think anything of this, but I booked like an Airbnb, like a room just in like a shared kind of Airbnb building in Philadelphia. Now the event was in West Philly, which again, I didn't think anything of. I knew it was like where Fresh Prince is from, but that was kind of my only reference point. And I travelled down on the megabus, and on the day of the festival, I got an Uber to the event, and the guy that was driving the Uber, I will say everyone in this area was black. That's not a problem, by the way. Like I just noticed that it was like blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks, like I would say miles, everyone was black, which we don't really have here to the same extent. We do have segregated areas, but it's nowhere near the same extent in Europe. So I go to this festival and I'm in the car, and the guy's black driving the taxi, and he's like what, basically like, what are you doing here, but like in a funny way. And I was like, oh, I'm Irish, like I'm staying in New York, I just love this, like all these artists, blah blah blah, I've wanted to see the Roots for ages. And he was like, oh okay, and then he goes, you'll be fine. And I was like, what do you mean I'll be fine? And he was like, you're Irish, it's okay. And I was kind of like, okay. And I kind of picked up that it was because I'm like a white lady going to this festival alone. I just want to add, I don't think it was anything to do with like my safety or anything like that. It was more because it's not really appropriate. Like it's just a bit of a strange thing. Like a white American woman would never do that, you know. Anyways, I get there, and like it's a huge festival. It's like thousands and thousands of people. I would say honestly there was like 3 other white people there. Now this is in no means a complaint. Everyone was lovely and really sound. But what I noticed was, like I say, the cultural segregation in America is crazy. Like it's almost as if there's 2 countries running congruently beside each other. And what I found was that black people have no choice but to consume white media and to code switch and like partake in white media for the most part, whereas white people can completely opt out of black media. They can also obviously opt out of anything to do with having to engage with the black community as well. But it was just really shocking because an event like that in London would be so mixed, so diverse. People would be fucking buzzing for it, like from all different walks of life. And over there it felt, and rightly so, I understand not wanting to have loads and loads of white people like descend on that kind of event, but it was just such a stark example to me of the way that America is completely culturally divided. And like this comment says, for example, the film Sinners, so many white Americans are not going to watch that film just because it has black people in it. And it really is that deep.
I'm the daughter of a black woman, but I'm also the daughter of a racist white man. My father always played nice with other races, cutting up, cracking jokes, enjoying the culture, immersing himself in the space, but he never actually connected with the people. Because the second we went from public to private, the people that we were just with became savages, uncultured, unkept. At times it felt like he was taking us into ethnic places just so he could get his rocks off. I mean, like stroke his ego and maybe like find evidence to support his ideas that he actually had in private. If you ever dared to call him out on it, he would scream at the top of his lungs that he was not a racist. And I guarantee you the very next day he was having his black friend, his Hispanic friend, his Asian friend, his Indian friend over for dinner. It was all very performative, but to me I always felt like the other ethnicity or race, whoever it was actually a victim who was being preyed upon, because I would see people get so invested in the story that he was selling that by the time the covert racism became overt racism, they thought it was all jokes.
Now, it's very funny when I see people saying, get over it, okay? It's all in the past. RAGED happened in the past. Slavery happened in the past. Jim Crow happened in the past. The only reason why a lot of them are saying it because they are not the ones in these shoes. If you guys remember all this while that things have been happening, okay, with so many things, you know, becoming so expensive in the US and all of that, you would tell me the truth, if at all you're a truthful person, that most of the people coming out to complain are palm-colored. A lot of them are coming out to speak the truth and saying that, you know, the cost of living has so much skyrocketed. Okay, you will tell me the truth, okay, if at all you can tell me the truth about the farmers who are everywhere complaining. Who are they and where are they? What, you know, race are they from? Okay, because some of you keep saying, oh, everything is not about race, stop playing the race card and all of that, but every one of you keep playing those race cards in our faces, and everyone just keeping quiet and just keep watching. Okay, with the farmers coming out to cry out about cost of living and how the trade war has affected their farm, and how, you know, lots of deportation of migrant workers has also affected their farms, you will know the fact that, you know, this whole thing would have become worse if they were the ones in the shoes of black folks. The only reason why they are crying out now is because it's affecting them directly. So a lot of them keep saying, oh, you guys should just get over it already, because they have never known trauma all their life. They have never known pain, and they have never known any form of Wh1te. We've seen videos of people coming out and say, oh, I never knew anything about that all my life. I've never got to experience that. The only reason why you never experienced it is because you literally is not in the, you don't have the looks of the people who should experience such. Now, a lot of people are coming out to spill the truth right now, and the whole irony of it all is the fact that most of them are palm-colored, and a lot of them are the ones even coming out to educate their own people and saying these people have gone through years of trauma, years of Jim Crow, years of slavery. Their forefathers, their ancestors went through a whole lot. So permit me to say that when they decide to stay silent in some cases that relate to everyone, it's not because they don't like people. It's just the fact that, you know, they have seen it all, that nothing actually moves them anymore. And talk about it, with what is happening with Iran right now, you could literally see that a lot of people are angry with black folks because black folks are not speaking up, or they are just, you know, so careless about what is happening, and like, oh, and saying things like, oh, Iran, please, we live in such a place, please do not bring it this way. That's because they have seen it all. They understand what it means to go through torture, through, you know, days of turmoil. They understand what it means to go through slavery. I don't think any one of us, if we had gone through such, I don't think we are going to survive it. But their ancestors went through it. They went through it. Like, I was watching a video where there's a particular place where slaves had to pass, like bend their head to pass through this place to go and meet master in a particular room. And I'm like, why do you have to? It's just a way to break people down. Like, you know, when you can break a person's heart, you can actually own, you know, and control the person. And that was exactly what their whole this thing was all about. They wanted to be in control, so they decided to play all of these cards in front of everyone. And permit me to say that they won at the time, but right now civilization has happened, and this generation are no longer acting that way. So before you can say one, they are responding to you back to back, like, okay, we have the strength of our ancestors, but we do not keep quiet like them. That's exactly what they're trying to play in your faces. So for some of you coming to say, oh, you guys should just get a hold of it, okay, these things never happened, or it happened, but what? It happened, but it was in the past. It was not us. I saw a palm-colored woman the other time who was making a video and was saying things like, oh, it happened, but it was not us, okay, or white women are not a part of slavery. I think you have not been able to educate yourself the truth, or either you know the truth, but you do not want to believe the truth, or you do not want to make research on the truth and understand what the truth is simply. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. I love the fact that these creators broke everything down and tried to educate every one of us. and credit belongs to a whole lot of them. All these creators on this video, credit of this video belongs to them. And thank you so much guys for watching. I would love to hear your own take about today's video and everything that was said by these creators. Let's have it. Let's share our thoughts in the comment section. Please do well to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you all on my next. Please do well to also drop your own take in the comment section. See you all on my next. Thank you so much guys for watching. Bye guys.